The wind was biting cold in the small town of Willow Creek, where snow blanketed every rooftop and street lamp. John Miller, a humble single father, adjusted the scarf around his 6-year-old daughter Emily's neck as they stood in line at a local community center for a holiday meal giveaway. He had lost his wife to cancer 3 years ago, and since then, life had been a mountain climb with no summit in sight. John worked 2 jobs, one as a janitor in a nearby office complex and the other as a night shift delivery man. Despite the exhaustion and long hours, his biggest joy was seeing Emily smile. Her laughter lit up their tiny, 1-bedroom apartment, and her curiosity made every ordinary moment feel like magic. That day at the community center, as they were about to receive their food box, a tall woman in a designer coat walked past them, flanked by 2 assistants. Emily looked up and stared at the woman with wide eyes, clutching John's hand tightly. The woman was Cassandra Blake, the CEO of Blake Tech Industries, a self-made billionaire and one of the most powerful businesswomen in the country. Cassandra had come to the community center for a publicity event, offering support to underprivileged families as part of a new outreach program. She wasn't used to being among regular people. Her world was glass towers and boardrooms. But something tugged at her chest as she passed the line of struggling families. She paused when she saw Emily's face. Something about the little girl made her stop in her tracks. Emily tilted her head, her eyes locked on Cassandra's face. Then, without warning, she whispered, "Daddy, she looks like the lady in my dream." John chuckled softly. "What kind of dream, sweetheart?" Emily answered, still staring. "She hugged me and said, 'I'm your real mom.'" John's smile froze. Cassandra heard it too. She turned, confused and stunned. Her assistants tried to move her forward, but she raised a hand and walked toward them. "I'm sorry," Cassandra said gently. "What did your daughter just say?" John hesitated, unsure whether to speak. "I think she's just imagining things. She dreams a lot. It doesn't mean anything." But Cassandra knelt down to Emily's level and asked, "What's your name, honey?" "Emily," she said with a shy smile. "You smell like my dream." Cassandra's eyes began to water unexpectedly. She didn't know why. She had no children. She never wanted them, or so she thought. But something about Emily's voice stirred a forgotten part of her heart. John quickly tried to change the subject, sensing the awkwardness. "Thanks for helping families like us. It means a lot." Cassandra nodded, but her gaze remained fixed on Emily. Over the next few days, Cassandra couldn't get Emily out of her mind. She had her team look into John Miller. What she found left her shaken. Years ago, in college, Cassandra had fallen in love with a man. She got pregnant during a complicated phase of her life. Pressured by her parents and fearing her career would collapse, she made the hardest decision of her life. She gave the baby up for adoption, never even seeing her. But something had always haunted her. She had regretted it every day. The adoption records had been sealed, until now. With the help of a private investigator, Cassandra discovered something that made her tremble. The little girl she had given up 6 years ago was named Emily. Emily Miller. Her daughter. Her real daughter. Cassandra dropped her phone, tears falling freely now. She had spent her life building an empire, but lost the one thing that truly mattered, her child. She drove straight to John's apartment. It was a modest building with peeling paint and broken stairs. She knocked on the door, her heart pounding. When John opened it, he was shocked to see her standing there. "Miss Blake, I need to talk," she said, her voice shaking. "Please." John stepped aside, and Cassandra entered the small living room where Emily was coloring at the table. The moment Emily looked up, she smiled brightly. "You came back." Cassandra's voice cracked. "Yes, I did." John watched silently as Cassandra walked to Emily and kneeled beside her. "Emily, do you know why I came?" Emily nodded without hesitation. "Because you're my real mom." "I know it now." John's breath caught in his chest. Cassandra looked at him, tears streaming down her face. I didn't know. I didn't know she was mine. I would have never. John raised his hand gently. I understand. I didn't know either. I adopted her after her first foster family gave her up. She was barely 2. No one wanted a toddler with health issues, but I did. She needed love. Cassandra covered her mouth, sobbing. She's everything, John said softly. She's my whole life. I don't want to take her away, Cassandra said immediately. I just want to know her. To be in her life. If you'll let me. John looked at his daughter, who had crawled into Cassandra's lap with the comfort of someone who had known her forever. Emily smiled and whispered, "You feel like home." And just like that, the walls between them fell. In the weeks that followed, the bond between the three of them deepened. Cassandra didn't try to replace John, she admired him. He had raised Emily with love, compassion, and patience. She realized she had missed so much, but now she was determined not to miss another second. Cassandra began spending more time in Willow Creek, often visiting their small apartment and even inviting them to her estate. She bought Emily new clothes, books, and toys, not to spoil her, but to give her the joy she deserved. One night, as snow fell gently outside the window, Cassandra sat beside John while Emily slept on the couch with a storybook open on her chest. She loves you, John said, his voice soft. She's changed me, Cassandra replied. I thought I had everything, but I was empty. I just didn't know it. John looked at her. You're not just a CEO, Cassandra. You're her mother. And you've been brave enough to come back. Cassandra turned to him, her eyes searching his. You gave her what I couldn't. You saved her life. And mine. The silence between them was warm, full of unspoken respect. Then one day, Emily stood between them and asked, "Can we all be a family?" John and Cassandra looked at each other. He smiled. If that's what you want, sweetheart. Cassandra nodded, eyes brimming with tears. It's all I want. Months later, in a small ceremony at the town hall, Cassandra adopted her own daughter back, officially becoming part of Emily's world again. But not as a replacement. As an addition, a powerful CEO and a humble single father, brought together by the love of a child who believed in dreams. And in that little town, under a sky full of stars, they proved that sometimes, life writes the most beautiful stories when you least expect them.